What's good, everybody, and welcome back to the channel for another episode of our Oakland Athletics franchise here on MLB The Show 23, where we are ready to start Season 2 opening day, where we will have our first series of the year against the Chicago White Sox. Now, before we get into that game, there are a few things I would like to talk about. I ended up signing a few players to fill out the roster, as of course we're going to take our first look at kind of a new look team. A lot of turnover in general in free agency. After the offseason episode, I kind of signed a few back end of the roster players just to get up to that 93 man roster. But taking a look at where those players are, not a lot of them honestly are very exciting, but there is Mickey Saito here, 50 overall, A potential though. So I mean, that's pretty much kind of the most intriguing guy probably, as he is just, A potential. Is he ever going to reach it? Probably not, but we did get up to that 93 man roster. And I also just want to take a look at the status of our prospects. At the beginning of year one, we had one top 50 MLB prospect in Tyler Soderstrom. And so this year we have the number 2. I honestly think Soto should be 1. Foster, yeah, he has one higher potential, but he's a closer. Our second top 50 prospect is Soderstrom there at 42. He was in the 20s last year, so he has dropped, as his potential to drop last year. And then Eduardo Silva sitting at 49. So year one, we had one player at, I think, 23. This year we have the number 2, the number 42, and the 49. So just kind of seeing how our farm system is developing year to year is something I want to be doing. I did change up our scouts this year to do something that I feel like is a better way of scouting. It's something that I tried in my 0 overall draft only rebuild, and that's why I did that, to find kind of the best method of scouting. You want a very high discovery, low salary guy. As you can see, Robert Mahoney here could be even lower and still have 90 plus potential. But the reason I was able to get, the 5 extra discovery is this Philip Spencer right here, who has 97 efficiency and 95 pitchers at just $90,000 a year. So Archie Wood is our kind of best all-around scout. He's 90 plus in everything. Really, you just want 90 plus in position players and efficiency. If discovery and efficiency were flipped, this would be like the perfect scout, but of course they're not. So I think I might even in future years look to upgrade on that top scout so I can get 95 efficiency or more. But taking a look at now team needs heading into this year, just kind of where I wanted to be focused, maybe on the trade market, in the draft. First base is easily number 1. We only have players with D potential that are 25 or younger, so that's pretty bad. The corner outfield is probably need number 2, as we have one guy who's B, but he's 29 years old, and another who's B, but he's 45 overall, 21 years old. So is he ever going to reach there? Now we do have 2 center field prospects, I guess technically 3 now, with Mickey Saito, who have maybe potential, so maybe just one of the 2 corner outfielders. And then my number 3 need would be lefty pitching. I just want to take a look. Trevor Rogers, honestly, our best long-term pitcher is a lefty, and then Muller and Waldichuk are both lefties as well, but they're 26, 70. You just don't know if those guys are truly going to make it. And then Double A, it's all righties. So just guys that are, long-term pitchers at lefty. After Rogers, I just don't know if we have one, so I'd like to get at least a second. But in the 6th round of this last draft, we drafted Garrett Dennis, a closing pitcher. And it was between him and another player that I totally forgot to look for in free agency in the offseason. But I looked up his name the start of the season as he was signed. He was signed by the Dodgers. His name is Omar Cannon, which doesn't seem like a Japanese name to me, but could be wrong. He is a lefty pitcher with a potential 62 overall. Basically, all I'm saying is, in the 6th round of last year, I had the opportunity to take my 3rd highest need, and we just passed on him. So that's honestly probably the biggest L we've taken here in the first 10 episodes of this franchise series. Should have drafted Omar Cannon over Dennis, and then should have signed him in free agency. We had 2 opportunities to get a really, really good player at my 3rd highest position of need. We didn't do it either time, so that's a pretty rough L to take. At the time of the draft, I just thought we had 2 starting pitchers that I really liked, and that was the case. I really liked the 2 starting pitchers that we had already drafted, and I wanted the opportunity to take a shot at the closer. And it's not even that Garrett Dennis is bad; he's not. It's just that Omar Cannon would have been really, really awesome for us to be able to get. A quick look at training here. I don't honestly know how big of an impact training makes in the development of a player. If it's a really big impact, you guys can let me know, and maybe I'll pay more attention to it. A lot of these guys are just on auto, though. It just feels like a lot of their development is more based on performance than their training. But that's all I have prior to the opening day game, so let's hop into it. Season 2, a lot of change on this team. That was kind of always going to be the case. There wasn't a lot of long-term guys you were going to commit to on this roster. Trevor Rogers will be the ace here for year 2. Excited to hop in and play with him. His first pitch of the year will be a ground. I guess not his first pitch, sorry. Excuse me, his first at-bat will be a ground out there to Tim Anderson. So able to get that leadoff hitter out. Next guy up is a fly out on the 0-2 pitch. Sam Haggerty also retired. 2 down quickly for the Oakland Athletics. And then this 3rd batter, Eloy Jimenez, is also taken out. So able to retire the White Sox rightly to start this year. Of course, the White Sox are the team that we traded Aledmys Diaz to, our best player from last year, to start the franchise. So we will see him in this game. Rosario's first at-bat didn't quite go how you would want that. Definitely got tricked by that slider there. Still almost reached base. It was kind of close, but Lawrence Butler will be retired. Not my finest moment at the plate, for sure. But broken bat, nice play out over there at 3rd base to just barely get Lawrence Butler out. And then Ian Happ here. He is swinging early, and he is getting on base with his first ever at bat. Both Happ and Amanda Rosario have a quirk. They have better ratings in the first pitch of an at bat, so I will be swinging early and often with them. Seth Brown retired on the low changeup here, so we strand Happ in the first inning. Andrew Vaughn just gets past the glove of Seth Brown here at the top of the 2nd. So with 1 out, the White Sox are on base, but that's a high fastball swung on and missed. Trevor Rogers able to get him to chase way high there. 0-2 coming up for Aledmys Diaz. He strikes out on the low circle change. Trevor Rogers getting this lineup to chase here in the 2nd inning. So both teams have a hit, but neither has got a run across. Kemp is able to get on base. The dive over at center field was not able to get the glove on the ball. So Kemp's first at bat of the season will be a triple. It's not like he's got amazing speed either, so you love to see that. Probably gonna be, I don't imagine he's gonna have a lot of triples by the time this year ends. Jace Peterson 1-2. So we got a man on base with no outs, just 90 feet from home plate. Should be easy to get him across, but when you have 2 strikeouts in a row, you just feel like you wasted an opportunity. Now we need, Brent Rooker here at the 8th spot to get on base. He gets on base with a walk that was maybe a questionable call. But Shea Langeliers hitting in the 9th spot is now in a high leverage situation. After that wild pitch, he has 2 runners in scoring position, but 2 outs. Need a good hit from him. He hits it high and deep. Left center field. Center fielder tracking it, and he will get it at the warning track. Just missed. It could have been a couple RBIs on that one. Now, third inning, Trevor Rogers will start with a strikeout. High and inside for Gavin Sheets. Tim Anderson with 2 down. Ramon Laureano just can't make the diving play. Still able to limit Tim Anderson to a single there. And then there's the end of the third with a strikeout. Trevor Rogers looking pretty good through 3, and he has some shutout innings in him. Med Rosario just, I don't know what I was thinking there, just way too late. That was easily in the strike zone. Lawrence Butler, high changeup. You got to make him pay for that, and it will get down. And Lawrence Butler now heading for third. We've got, 2 triples already in the first 3 innings. 1 out, man, 90 foot from home plate. You just got to get a sacrifice fly here from Hab. Instead, we continue to strike out in these high leverage situations. Obviously, I'm not very clutch. If you can't tell, still learning this game, and let's just say the clutch gene hasn't quite set in, but we were able to get on base again. Runner in the corners, Seth Brown. Tony Kemp grounds out. We strand a man on third. Once again, Aledmus Diaz there to make that play. Eloy Jimenez able to draw a 4-0 walk. Not really all too competitive in that at-bat with the pitches. Luis Robert up next, and he swings at the fastball just above the zone. Those high fastballs were working for Rogers here, and we get another strikeout. Got the first man on base, but then was able to get 2 Ks. This backdoor slider just misses the zone. Thought we could have got that call on that, but that'll be the second walk. So 2 strikeouts and 2 walks in the inning. But they're not making contact with the ball until right here. And this will be the first RBI of the game, the first run scored. White Sox take a 1-0 lead. Same inning here. We get another knock to left field, and it drops in just before Ian Happ can get there. Another RBI. And still a man in scoring position for Chicago. Need to get this out. And there we go. High fastball again. That's kind of the go-to strikeout pitch for Trevor through the first 4 innings. And here the 2-2 pitch will just bean Jace Peterson right in the back, so he gets to reach base. And then Mariano does as well, and with no outs, once again we have a man in scoring position. We need to take advantage of these opportunities. Brett Rooker will have a chance to do so here, but he strikes out. 6th strikeout already for Dylan Cease. That brings up Shea Langoliers for once again a high leverage situation. This one's hit deep as well, but not deep enough. I mean, he advances the runner, but with 2 outs, sacrifice fly no longer on the table. And that brings up Ahmed Rosario. Honestly, in terms of contact hitting, he's as good as we've got, but this time the contact goes right to Aledmus Diaz, who's made a couple of defensive plays in this game. So the score will remain 2-0 here for Tim Anderson, and that's a nice play by Ramon Laureano. Thought that one was going to drop in. Ends up being a flyout. 1 down here. Sam Haggerty on the plate. This one was a miss by Trevor Rogers. And it will get down for a double. Going for 3 though. Sam Haggerty is tagged out. Got a little bit aggressive there. Lawrence Butler says, no, not on my turf. 2-1 here for Trevor Rogers. Once again, high fastball. This time got the contact on it, but easily able to glove that is Seth Brown to end the top of the 5th. Now bottom 5, 2 outs, and Seth Brown gets beamed in the leg. Right on the cap, it looks like. Brings up Tony Kemp, who, grounds out to end the 5th. Offense very disappointing. We just have a bad habit of leaving a lot of runners on base. Top of the 6th, we did put Jordan Hicks in the game as Trevor Rogers. The pitch count was just at a spot where I thought we were still in reach in this game, and I didn't want to risk it. I also wanted to see Jordan Hicks, who we just paid in free agency, started his Athletics tenure with a strikeout, but then right after that allows a home run. Home runs per 9 isn't really bad with him. His rating's pretty good. You mostly worry about walks here, but in this case, we did give up the first home run of season 2. Jace Peterson able to get that changeup left high and knock it into center field. Got to make him pay. You hope that, you know, a pitch like that could result in more than just a single, but you'll take what you can get. And once again, stop me if you've heard this before, we have a man in scoring position with no outs in the inning. That would end the day for Dylan Cease. Oh my goodness, I am sorry. That would be a tag situation on the Brent Rooker, and that puts Jace Peterson with 1 out in a position for a sacrifice fly. Shea Langeliers keeps getting these high leverage situation bats. I feel like none of Shea Langeliers' bats have been without somebody being in scoring position. That time able to at least get on base. Bases loaded. 3-0 for Ahmed Rosario. We have got the green light right over the middle. Hit to right field. That's going to be caught, but that should be enough for the tag. And it is. And finally, the Athletics able to get a run across the board. We've been stranding people on base so often in this game. Was kind of hoping for a little bit of break on that ball. We didn't get it, so it was inside. So only able to get that 1 run. And I talked about it before with walks. That is kind of the fear with Jordan Hicks. He's going to get strikeouts like we see here, but he's also going to walk a decent amount of players. Didn't do it too much last year, which is why we offered him the contract, despite the low walks per 9. He was actually pretty good at limiting them, and this one will be gloved over in center field by Lawrence Butler, able to get there in time. He's got pretty good speed over there in center. Just wish his potential was higher. Borderline pitch there, going to be called for his second walk of the inning, but here with the pop out, Shea Langeliers able to get under it and really able to limit the damage of the inning. 3-1 here, bottom 7. Ian Happ got really good contact on the ball, but just happens to hit it right to left field. Tony Kemp now, he had a triple earlier in this game. This one is hit pretty well down that first baseline, but not good enough. Domingo Acevedo comes in the 8th inning, and we'll start with the slider. He was our best reliever last year, so going to be one of my go-to guys when we hop in and play the games, you know, as long as he has energy. Second batter up, second strikeout of the inning. That's just kind of what we saw from him last year. And there we go, striking out the side. Domingo Acevedo was straight money for us in the 8th. It probably earned himself a 9th inning in this one as well, because he didn't have a lot of pitches, so might have the energy to go through 2. After what we saw in that 8th inning, definitely deserves the shot for it. 3-1 bottom 8th. 3-0 Ramon Laureano had the green light, and this one will drop down in left center field and be a double with 1 out. Really we don't have a lot of outs to play with in this game, so we really got to start taking advantage of runners with scoring position. Rooker strikes out on a pitch I definitely should not have swung at. But Shea Langeliers once again back up on the plate in a high leverage situation. I mean, he's just like, his hits haven't been bad, but this one is left high sinker, deep left field, and it is gone. Shea Langeliers finally able to get that extra power needed to knock it out of the park, and he will tie this game up. The first Oakland Athletic home run on the year comes here in the 8th inning on opening day. Gets himself across the board, as well as Ramon Laureano, but more importantly ties this game 3-all. Bottom of the 8th. Took us a while to get some runs across the board, but here in kind of this back half, back third of the game, we've started to make more consistent, good contacts. And it's resulting in us getting, you know, the runs across the board and trailing layers. That's the kind of stuff you want to see from him, because he is, you know, out of the guys on our MLB roster this year, he has the highest ceiling. But Aledmys Diaz with the revenge. Top of the ninth. Knocks this one out of the park. This one was no doubt about it. Traded him, of course, last year near the trade deadline. Domingo Acevedo was so money in the eighth. But Aledmys Diaz said, oh, you traded me for, you know, a couple of meh prospects? I'll show you. I think it wasn't even, it might have just been one meh prospect. I mean, Oscar Colas is good. I do like him, so no disrespect to him. I do view him as a long-term part of our future, at least potentially. But Aledmys Diaz showing us what he thought about that trade. And we are able to get out of the top of the ninth without allowing anything else. But Aledmys Diaz puts us in a position where we need to score to stay in this game. Lawrence Butler, first up to bat, hits it right to the first baseman. He's out. Only 2 outs to play with in this game. Ian Happ 1-2. He's up to bat. This one is popped into the infield. Easy play for the shortstop. And we've only got 1 out left. Full count for Seth Brown. Going to take that outside fastball. Puts the tying run on base and the go-ahead run at the plate. Tony Kemp. Can he be the hero of opening day for the Oakland Athletics? The first pitch up and inside. That's a very small strike zone here for Tony Kemp. This pitch up and inside. This time he'll swing on it. Deep to right field. It is gone! And Tony Kemp will walk off with a 2-run homer and give the Oakland Athletics their second consecutive opening day victory. We might not be a good team at all, but we can get the wins on opening day. Tony Kemp almost didn't come back to the team, but I gotta be honest with you, I'm glad we brought him back. Not, you know, your typical suspect for home run kind of power, but he came through in the clutch, just snuck over that wall deep in right field. The Oakland Athletics will win on opening day in front of their home crowd. Second year in a row, we also got to play at home on opening day, so you gotta come out and show out for that crowd. Of course, Tony Kemp will win player of the game. Domingo Acevedo will be given the victory on the day as well. And in terms of what else I want to do in this episode, I also want to preview the draft, which we'll do here first. I want to do a better job just in general previewing the draft. In my Madden series, I do like public draft boards where I'll make a Google sheet. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it, but I do want to do something like that. But just at the top of this draft, just to talk about it, looks like there's 2 18-year-old outfielders who honestly look like they could both be generational type talents. Cannon, I think, contact fielding are really good with power and speed in a good spot, where I feel like Boyce McDermott's not as good of a fielder, but he's an equal contact hitter, maybe with more power and more speed. That's just kind of what I see there. In terms of our needs, first base, in the first couple of rounds, there's, 3 guys that are, worth taking a look at. So we will definitely be scouting first baseman. In terms of lefty pitchers, there seems to be a few different options for the first round. Again, if those outfielders end up being generational, we're probably not looking pitcher first round, but even further than that, looks like there's some lefty pitchers in the second or maybe even third. So kind of like where the draft is looking, but those are with all the players on the scouter drive. We actually got to scout them to see if they're actually worth anything. Let's hop into the last thing I want to do here in this episode. I want to see the debut of Jack Flaherty. We're able to see all the other free agents that we signed. Haven't seen Jack Flaherty yet. His first pitch is, a favorable call, but it is a low strike. And his first at-bat will end in a strikeout, able to retire Kyle Tucker without too much problem. That brings up Jose Abreu. The 2-2 pitch. He went on the slider. I love a good strikeout slider. But like that's the pitch I'm most consistently able to get people to chase on. So somebody with a nice slider is always going to get a boost in terms of how much I like them. Does walk Yordan Alvarez here. But with Jose Altuve up next, able to get the simple ground out. I honestly kind of forgot about the camera angles you get on player lock. So that was an interesting moment for you. But here to start the second inning, he'll walk a player. Able to bounce back though with a strikeout the very next at bat. So it's a lot of strikeouts and walks to start this game. Full count here. Sinker well in the zone. Can we turn two? No, we can't, but it is a fielder choice situation again. It took me a minute in this player lock to get used to the camera, so just bear with me. By the end of this game, I got a better hang of it, and I was actually able to show the action a little bit better. But 1-0 here for Corey Lee. He blasts it deep, but able to just stay inside the park for Ian Happ. Catch on the warning track. Mascot here having a good old jolly time. But 2 shutout innings thus far. Can we keep it going? Third base, over to first. Easy play for the ground out. And we got 2 down here at the top of the third. Bringing up Yordan Alvarez. Last time we walked him. This time we're able to get the strikeout. Chase that cutter well inside. Jack Flaherty. Now 3 shutout innings. Going for a 4th. This one will get through. Allows a hit to Jose Altuve. Another guy with the really small strike zone. This one has the potential to be 2. Rosario will make the play. Double play here in the 4th. You'll love to see it. Some good defense out of our free agent acquisition. And this one will be a pretty simple ground out here. Once again, straight to Ahmed Rosario. Rosario? I have no idea. They're close enough that I don't know if it's that big of a problem, but we'll get a strikeout on Jeremy Pena here at the top of the 5th. This one is hit deep. Chaz McCormick. And it will drop down. Outfielders just can't quite get to it. That'll be a double for McCormick here. 2 outs still. This one will be caught by Seth Brown. Nice reaction time from him. Could have easily got through the gap. Our energy is running low here as we start the 6th, but shutout innings, they're going to keep us in. And another nice, impressive line-out play. Abreu wasn't too thrilled about that. But Yordan Alvarez will get popped out here. Broke his bat. Pretty similar play that we saw on opening day. 2 outs now. This one will sneak through. Can't quite get that 3rd quick out. So Houston gets a man on base, but can they turn it into a run with already 2 outs? This one will be popped. And it took me a while. It's been a long time since I've actually made a play. So it took me a minute there to figure out what I was doing as well. But we did get a 7th inning. Thank goodness for the super deep foul territories on this park to be able to get that out. Normally that's in the stands for sure. This one, Langoliers makes a nice play. That big arm of his has been an asset on a couple of occasions in this series. You love to see a player's signature skill highlighted. But 2 outs now in the 7th. This one inside, jammed him up a bit, and Kemp able to make the play. 7 shutout innings for Flaherty, but he was relieved in the 8th. So 7 innings for him of really quality pitching, and the Athletics end up completing the shutout. So, a combined shutout for the pitchers involved in today's game, and we take the series win on the Astros. It was 1-1 prior to this game, and we, despite only getting 1 more hit, got 7 more runs than them, and Flaherty through 2 starts hasn't yet allowed a run. That's all I have for this episode. I'll be back soon with another, and I will see you then.